Well, good morning, guys. Today is Friday, July the 5th, and we're up the farm this morning. We're going to be looking at some of our, we're going to be looking at all the crop, the corn, soybeans, and everything's looking fairly well right now. I'm pretty pleased with it. We do need to get in here and spray. Some of our beans are getting pretty hairy. This field here is pretty clean still, but we do have some that's getting a little bit hairy, and we need to get that sprayed. And our corn's about to the point it's ready for top dressing, and we got a really good rain last night. It is fairly muddy, and muddy enough it'll stick to your shoes, and it's a little wet to get in right now, but we will be in it here in a few days. But this is part of our soybeans. We planted on 30-inch rows this year. I done that because I wanted to plant with my planter and not my drill. And I had a little bit of, it took me a little bit to get my planter set up, to get the seed population just right. And I don't think I ever did get it just exactly where I wanted it. I was targeting around 140,000, and I think these right here are more or less probably on about 120, and they're looking good. But what this will give us is a little bit of comparison, because I've got a few fields planted at this population rate, and I made some adjustments to my planter, and we'll look at another field here in just a minute. It's probably around 160. So I got the boys with me this morning, Mr. Cohen, yeah, and Mr. Tate's over there in the buggy. The other one is at the house with his mama. But we're out just surveying and seeing what things look like. Like I said, this field's pretty clean, but some of it's not, and we'll see some that's not before we get done. But this was planted on the 17th of June. So it's late, but it's coming on. We'll walk over here and look at the corn real quick. All right, here's some corn. This corn was planted on the 15th of June. And it hasn't been sprayed either. And even now you can see a little bit out here. We haven't had a ton of rain. This is the best rain we've gotten since we've planted. But as you can see right here, out in front of me, there's some spots right out there. And this whole area, this was really wet when we planted it. And you can see the corn's definitely in stress from the wet ground. But we're about ready to hit this with some nitrogen. I like to do it between B5 and B7, not counting the bottom leaves. We're at 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5's coming out. So by the time it dries up, we should be about to, it should be good to hit it with some nitrogen. Now, we'll look at it up on the other end, but when we get out of this wet spot right here, the rest of it looks a lot better. What do you think, Cohen? Think it's gonna make anything?
I think it's gonna make about 15,000 corn cobs.
Corn cobs, really? I don't know. I don't know how to count the corn cobs. I just hope it yields good per bushel. Our bushels are good. And which we're late, so that's gonna hamper, could possibly hamper that for sure, but we won't really know until fall, but we're gonna do our best with it. Well, we're gonna go on up and we're gonna look at some of the other spots, and then we're going, this is our farm, by the way, and we're gonna run over and look at Mr. Joe's place. The corn over there is a couple days, 2 or 3 days ahead of this, but it's not too awful much bigger than this. This is pretty well caught it, and it's ready for top dressing as well. Now the corn over there has been sprayed. It's good and clean. The beans over there, however, were planted on the 18th, and they're looking great, but they've got some grass in them. We need to get them sprayed as soon as it dries. So we're going to drive on back and we're going to look at some other. So Mr. Cohen is chauffeuring us around this morning. Anytime we're together and we got the mule out, he likes to drive, so I just get to sit back, ride, and relax. Yeah, just go straight on up through here. You see that spot there was really wet. I had to pick up and plant around it. But you notice, I don't know how well the camera picks up, but I can definitely see a difference in the size of the corn up this way and the color of it. The color of it's a lot greener. This was a lot drier ground when we planted. This is looking really good.
It looks like it's going to be taste better, plant better.
All right. So these beans right here, these beans are on a higher population. And I don't know for sure. I was playing with my planter, but I know they're a higher population than what the field was we were just in. And I'm guessing these at around 160. And we'll be able to see just in some small comparisons if we really get a yield difference from the higher population, or if the lower population does just as well. I've got a feeling that there's not going to be much of any. I know that there's going to be probably a little bit of yield reduction, 3 or 4 bushel per acre or something, because we went on 30-inch rows. But I couldn't get a consistent, good emergence behind my drill. I could get a good stand, but they didn't come up all together, and I really wasn't happy with that, so I wanted to go to something more precise. We bought some bean meters, and we planted with our planter, our 7000 planter, and 30-inch rows is as close as I could go with it. But these come up, it seemed like all within a day.
Yeah.
So I was really pleased with that, but we'll see if that makes a difference. But these beans are looking good, and this field's pretty clean too.
And I can see the corn one here.
Yeah, there's a corn cob from last year, ain't it?
And they grow good, so hopefully these beans will grow good.
We'll see. We haven't had beans in this field before. This field has really yielded good on corn, up around 200 bushels an acre, and which to me that's really good. I'm really tickled with that. We'll see what it does on beans. One thing that we're fighting is deer pressure. They really like these beans, and they have hit them. You can see right there some that they've nibbled on. There's places they've went down the road 10 or 20 feet and just there's nothing but a stub sticking up. Well, you know, Tatum. All right, so we'll walk out in this corn for a second. I can tell a difference in the color of this corn and the size of it from where we were at down there a while ago. This is definitely ready for top dressing. If we go by what we was talking about a while ago, we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we got 6 coming out the top. So this is ready. We need to get this top dressed and get some nitrogen on it, and we will do that just as soon as, well, probably the first of next week. So here within 3 or 4 days, 3 days or so, we'll get that done. But other than the crop being late, and it was a struggle for everybody getting everything out, but other than that, I'm tickled with how it's doing. I think everybody around here at least is pretty well done. I think on the 3rd I seen some guys planting some double crop soybeans, but I think everybody's pretty well done, and I think everybody was ready for this rain that we got. We had an extremely wet spring, as a lot of people did in this part of the country, but when it dried up, it kind of dried up, and we was definitely needing some rain, and this is what we needed. So I don't know how much we got, but we got a good soaking rain last night, so we ought to be in good shape for a few days anyway. Well, we're gonna run over to Mr. Joe's and we're gonna look at some of that, and we'll see what it looks like. All right, we're over at Mr. Joe's. We are in the last beans that we planted. These were planted on June the 18th. And a little smaller, not hardly as tall as what we was looking at a while ago, but all in all, I'm really pleased with them. They look really good. Looks like we got a really good stand. And if you can see right here, we got some weeds coming in them here. We'll need to get this sprayed. But I'm really pleased with the stand that we got on this. I think it looks really nice. And we'll go on up and we'll look at the other 2 fields of beans that we've got on Mr. Joe, and we'll look at the corn as well. You can see the corn. Maybe you can see it there in the distance part of it, but these are planted on a little higher population as well. We'll see how it turns out. Colin, what do you think? We're gonna make any beans?
Yeah.
We'll make something.
And there's one big weed just right there.
There is a big weed right out there, but we'll knock that down with some spray.
Yeah, I see a couple butterflies here. There's one right there and this one there.
Well, we'll leave the butterflies alone.
Yeah, I think they like the beans too.
Probably. All right, here we are. It's one of the fields, one of the other fields here on Joe's. This field was planted on the 18th as well, and it's got some weed. Got some weed, small weeds coming in here. Got some morning glories, a little bit of grass here and there, but we've got some pretty good weeds and grass in it out there, and we're gonna have to spray this right away. This is our worst field, but still at the point that we can control it, no problem. This is our last field here. I think this field was planted on the 17th. Got a little bit of morning glories and weeds coming in here, but not as bad as the other field, but we'll take care of that. But I'm really tickled with the stand that we got, and we'll see how these 30-inch rows turn out. We used to always plant 30-inch rows. In fact, back before you had Roundup Ready beans, we would plant in 30-inch rows. We would spray, and then if you had anything come in the beans, come in the beans before they canopied over good, we would plow them and go in and cultivate them, and we usually had pretty good luck with that. But of course now we can come over top and we can spray and everything. We can take care of the stuff without having to cultivate them. As you can see right here, that spot there is pretty heavy on morning glories, but looks pretty good. So let's go on up and look at our corn, see what it is looking like. It is the earliest. I think it was planted on the 12th. Maybe the 12th and the 13th is 2 days because my planter broke on me. But we'll see what it looks like and get an eye on it.
You can drink of it.
All right, this is the big field here on Mr. Joe. This is our, well, originally it was no-till, and we planted it. We didn't get a stand on it. We come in here and disc it up, and we replanted it. Planted originally May 21st, planted again I think on the 12th of June, and it's looking pretty good. I think it looks pretty nice. It's got a good green color, and it is definitely ready for top dressing. We are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're coming out with B7 coming out the top right now, so it needs it. So this is what we'll hit first, and we will get this top dressed, get some nitrogen on it, and it's looking good. Colin, what do you think about this field? It looks pretty nice, don't it?
Yeah, it's about the size of the others, but
yeah,
it looks the greenest.
So hold still a minute, Colin. Stay right there you are. So the old saying is, if you're knee high by the 4th of July, you'll make a good corn crop. Well, it doesn't specify, that saying doesn't specify whose knee. So if you look at Cohen right there, we're above his knee. Today's July 5th. This should make some corn. What do you think?
I don't know.
All right, we'll look at some of the rest of it, and that'll be it for today. Just wanted to come out. Hadn't been up here in a few days. We got this rain. I knew that it was going to be getting to the point of top dressing. I wanted to come make sure that we were there so I could get everything ready and prepared, and that is definitely where we are at. So here's another field here on Mr. Joe. This field actually had a decent stand on it from the first time we planted it, but where we had sprayed our burn down, the grass just came back with a vengeance, and it was crazy grassy in here. And since I was going to have to replant, it ain't but about 5 acres in this field, so since I was going to have to replant the majority of it anyway, I just disced this up and replanted it, and I think we're better off for it. Could have sprayed it and probably killed it, but it was nasty, but it's looking good. I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
Got a couple more. We'll check out a couple more spots and we'll call it good for today. But all in all, it's late crop, but I like the way it looks. I'm really happy with it, and look forward to seeing what we can do with it. We're going to try to, like I said, get some nitrogen on it. Going to top dress it. When the time comes, we're going to come back and we're going to put some fungicide on it, and we'll see what we can make this stuff do this year. Hopefully it'll yield well. With the price on corn, beans is holding a little bit better than corn is right now, but with the price on corn and what they're looking at on the futures, it's not good, and we need to yield everything that we can. We don't, however, need to dump so much money in it that we're not going to make any profit, but we will be selectively doing what we think we can do to help the yield get up there, to try to make a little extra bushels so we can offset that price per bushel in the fall. But we'll see how it goes. All right, this will be the last that we look at. This right here was really grassy even after we planted it the second time. I come in here and sprayed it, and it cleaned it up really nice. And I see a weed or two that's trying to hang on, but I think we're going to be okay. This corn here don't look hardly as good as that did up on top of the hill, but it's this is some old pasture ground. Hadn't had anything planted on it in several years, and it's a little wet, a little wet natured ground, and you can kind of tell that in spots. This over here is the same, kind of a little bit hilly on the side of a hill, but I think we're going to make some corn. I don't expect no record-breaking yields on this, but I think it's going to do all right. I looked at the other end of it. I'm not going to walk out through it, but it is all ready for, it's all ready for the nitrogen.
I think we're gonna have a lot of good corn in the cornfields.
We're going to keep the combine busy this fall, ain't we?
Yeah.
And we got the new semi and hopper bottom. We'll be hauling some grain, won't we?
Yeah, like you think you're done with one field, but you actually have about 3 more fields to
Yeah,
do.
we just keep going until we get done, one field after the other.
Then we got to do beans.
Yeah, well, beans may be first. You don't know.
Yeah.
We'll just have to see how it plays out. Well, guys, that's the video for today. We just come out and checking the crop. We're going to be back in it next week doing some spraying, top dressing, and hopefully get everything laid by until time to put the fungicide on, which is still a little ways away yet. But we'll do our best anyway, try to make a crop this year. And Mr. Cohen, he got to plant some corn this year for the first, or beans. You actually planted beans, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yep, he planted some beans for me and done a good job. So proud of him for that. And he'll drive the combine some this fall, I'm sure. And we'll get the crop in. So I got some good help. And we're gonna do our best and take care of it. But guys, hope you enjoy looking at the crop. Hope everybody's crop out there is doing well, even better than this. I am not jealous one bit. I want mine to do as good as it can be, but I want everybody else's to do just as good as it can as well, because I know they're dependent on it. So
And it's hard
I
to
hope all y'all are having a good crop. I hope that it's turned out after the tough spring that we've had, and I hope everything goes really well for you. And hopefully prices will go up. I don't really foresee that, but let's hope that they do. But guys, thank you, and as always, we'll see you next time.